History of Carnival. A graded reader, Level A2. Chapter 1, The Ancient Roots. The history of Carnival started a long time ago in the Mediterranean. In ancient Rome, the people had a very important festival called Saturnalia. This festival happened in December to celebrate the god Saturn. During Saturnalia, the normal rules of society changed for a few days. Slaves did not have to work and they could speak freely to their masters. In fact, sometimes masters served food to their slaves at the table. People played games, visited their neighbors, and gave small gifts. It was a time of great joy and freedom before the cold winter began. In ancient Greece, there were also similar festivals for Dionysus, the god of wine. People wore masks and danced through the streets in large groups. They believed these celebrations helped the plants grow in the spring. These ancient traditions were the very first seeds of what we now call Carnival. Chapter 2, Goodbye to Meat. When the Middle Ages began, the Christian Church became very powerful in Europe. The Church decided to use the old festivals but gave them a new meaning. The name Carnival probably comes from the Latin words carnevale. In English, this means farewell to meat or goodbye to meat. This happened because of the period called Lent. Lent is a time of 40 days before Easter Sunday. During these 40 days, people lived very simply and prayed a lot. They were not allowed to eat meat, sugar, or fat. Because they could not eat these things during Lent, they had a big party before it started. They cooked all the meat and eggs in the house so the food did not go bad. This Fat Tuesday was the final day of the celebration. It was the last chance to eat well and be happy before the long weeks of fasting. Chapter 3, The Magic of Venice. By the 13th century, Venice became the center of the carnival world. The festival in Venice lasted for many weeks, not just a few days. The most important part of the Venetian carnival was the mask. In the past, Venice was a city where rich people and poor people were very separate. But when people wore masks, no one could see their social class. A poor fisherman could wear a beautiful mask and talk to a rich prince. A servant could attend a grand ball in a palace and dance with a noble lady. The masks gave people total anonymity and freedom. They could behave differently and forget their daily problems. The city was full of music, theater, and magic in every square. Even today, the masks of Venice are famous symbols of this history. They remind us of a time when everyone could be whoever they wanted to be. Chapter 4, Carnival crosses the ocean. In the 16th century, European explorers began to travel across the Atlantic Ocean. The Spanish and Portuguese went to South America, while the French went to North America. They did not only bring their languages, they also brought their traditions. The settlers wanted to celebrate Carnival in their new homes. At first, these celebrations were very similar to the ones in Europe. Rich families had private parties and wore expensive costumes inside their houses. However, the Americas were home to many different groups of people. There were indigenous people and also millions of people from Africa. These different cultures started to influence the European festival. They added their own drums, their own dances, and their own stories. This mixture created something completely new and exciting. In the next chapters, we will see how these traditions grew in Rio and New Orleans. Chapter 5, The Birth of Samba in Rio. In Brazil, Carnival became the biggest party on the planet. In the 19th century, people in Rio de Janeiro played games with water and flour in the streets. But the festival changed when African music arrived in the city. The former slaves brought their traditional rhythms and combined them with European music. This was the birth of Samba. Samba is a fast and happy style of music that makes everyone want to dance. Soon, people started to form Samba schools. These were not real schools with books and teachers. They were groups of neighbors who practiced dancing and drumming all year. They wanted to be the best and win the annual competition. Today, the Samba schools in Rio are famous for their giant parades. They wear costumes with thousands of feathers and bright colors. The energy of the drums is the heart of the Brazilian carnival. Chapter 6, Mardi Gras in New Orleans. In the United States, the most famous carnival happens in New Orleans. The people there call it Mardi Gras, which is French for Fat Tuesday. French explorers brought this tradition to Louisiana in the 18th century. New Orleans is a city where different cultures live together. Because of this, Mardi Gras has a very special sound. You can hear jazz and blues music on every street corner during the festival. One of the most famous traditions is throwing things from the parade floats. People on the floats throw plastic beads, toys, and doubloons to the crowd. Everyone shouts, "Throw me something, mister," to get a gift. The official colors of Mardi Gras are purple, green, and gold. Purple represents justice, green represents faith, and gold represents power. It is a time when the whole city stops working to have fun. Chapter 7: The Giant Floats of Viareggio and Nice. While South America has Samba, Europe has a tradition of giant floats. In Viareggio, Italy, the Carnival is famous for its huge papier-mâché statues. Artists work for many months to build these incredible structures. Some floats are as tall as buildings and they can move their heads and arms. Often, these floats show famous politicians or actors in a funny way. In Nice, France, they have a very beautiful tradition called the Battle of Flowers. People on the floats throw thousands of fresh flowers to the people in the streets. The air in Nice smells like lilies, roses, and mimosas during this time. These European carnivals are different from the ones in Brazil or the USA. They focus more on art, theater, and satire. But the feeling is the same. It is a time to laugh at the world. Chapter 8: Notting Hill and the Caribbean Spirit. Notting Hill Carnival in London is another very important celebration. It does not happen in February like most other carnivals. Instead, it happens in August during a public holiday. This festival started in the 1960s because of the Caribbean community in London. Many people moved from Trinidad and Jamaica to England after the Second World War. They wanted to celebrate their culture and bring people together. The streets of West London fill with the sound of steel drums and reggae music. There are also giant sound systems that play very loud music. People eat traditional Caribbean food like jerk chicken and rice. It is now the biggest street festival in Europe. It shows how Carnival can help different people live together in peace. Chapter 9: The Art of the Costume. Making a carnival costume is a very difficult and long job. In the past, people used simple things like old clothes or animal skins. But today, many costumes are works of art. Designers use sequins, beads, silk, and very large feathers. Some costumes are so big that the dancer needs wheels to move them. In Venice, costumes are elegant and look like they are from the 1700s. In the Caribbean, costumes are often light and bright because it is very hot. Many people spend all their savings to buy or make their costume. They feel proud when they wear it and walk in the parade. When you put on a costume, you leave your normal life behind. You are not a student, a waiter, or a doctor for one day. You are a king, a queen, or a magical creature. Chapter 10: Carnival Today. In the 21st century, Carnival is more popular than ever before. It is a global industry that helps the economy of many cities. Thousands of tourists travel to different countries to see the parades. Technology is also changing how we celebrate. Modern floats use LED lights, screens, and computer movements. But the spirit of the festival remains the same as it was in ancient Rome. It is still a time for people to be equal and free. It is a moment to forget about work, money, and stress. Even in a world with the internet and social media, we still need to dance together. We still need to wear masks and sing in the streets. Carnival reminds us that life is not just about work. It is also about joy, community, and imagination. The end.